Okay, so today's topic, which we are going to be focusing on, so yesterday, if you all remember, I gave you all a small introduction to the topic. I gave you all an introduction to what is psychology. We also discussed a few of the other topics like the operant condition, operant learning. So Pavlov and Skinner's theories was discussed as well yesterday. So in today,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes,
Ma'am, before start, I would like to clarify one thing regarding
sure,
the assignments and all.
okay, no problem.
Yeah, I would like to confirm whether we have to write assignments for our language subjects as well.
I'll Mr. Anand will have to answer that because I'm actually not
Okay. Imran, will tell me that you have to submit your assignments for language 2.
So language too. By default, it is a
Yes.
Tamil and English, right, sir?
Yeah, language by Tamil, English by English, and also
Okay, sir,
chronology
fine.
papers are by English.
Okay, sir, fine. So we have to submit languages too as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
okay. Anything else before we begin? Okay. So, as I was saying in yesterday's class, we had discussed Skinner and Pavlov's theory. We also discussed the various branches of psychology, and we also had a discussion about how psychology is important in the criminology field. What role do psychologists play in the criminology field and how it is useful? This is the topics that were focused on in yesterday's class. So, in today's class, we are going to be looking at the motivation and learning. Okay, we're going to be looking at what is motivation and learning and how does it play a role in the behavior of a person, as well as how does it influence us or guide us towards our goals. So we are going to be looking at this, and there are a few theories which we'll be focusing on as well. We'll be focusing especially on Maslow's theory, which is a very famous theory in psychology. It's called the hierarchy of needs. So we will be focusing on that theory. And we have a few other theories as well, but main focus is going to be on this because it is one of the most famous theories, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, so I'll start first. We are going to start with what is motivation and what is learning. We're going to look into that. So, can someone tell me in your own words, what do you all understand by this word motivation? What is motivation? What do you mean by motivation? And again, just as yesterday, if in case there is I may have a technical issue or something, if in case you all are not able to hear me, please let me know so I can fix the issue immediately, because sometimes I'll be talking and I may not realize that I have lost connectivity. So please keep me informed about it. Okay. Yeah. So what is motivation?
To maintain the goal oriented behavior.
Very good. Okay. To maintain goal oriented behavior. Then anything else? Anything else? Okay, fine. Not a problem. So, motivation, as you said, yes, it is to maintain the goal oriented behavior. So, each and every single person has some goals in their life, right? Everybody has some goals. Let it be a very simple goal, let it be something which is very major, let it be something which is conforming to society, let it be something that is delinquency, whatever it may be, good, bad, large, small, whatever it is, somebody has a goal in life. One person's goal may be to get up early in the morning. One person's goal may be to pass school. One person's goal may be to get a job. One person's goal may be to get a promotion. One person's goal may be to rob something or steal something. They've seen something which is of high value and their goal is to rob that and not get caught. So each person, irrespective of what goal it is, whether it's good, bad, big, small, every single person in their life has some type of goal or the other, and goals change. Okay, once you achieve one goal, you move on to your next goal, right? As and when people grow and evolve and develop, the goals also will continuously change as well. One person is not going to have the same goal for the rest of their life. They will focus on one goal, they will achieve it. Either they will achieve it, or If in case they think that it is something which is not achievable, then they may reduce the goal and say, okay, let's try and meet this first before we try to reach the other goal. So goals change based on the person's life development and evolution. Okay, so motivation is something which encourages a person to give their best in whatever they are doing to reach their goal. So each person, whatever they are doing on a day-to-day basis, it is something because they are trying to reach a goal, right? We are not simply studying. We're not simply studying criminology, learning criminology for no reason. We all have some goals in life. So this motivation, it encourages us to give our best to anything which we are doing, so that we can achieve whatever goals we have in our life. Now, if we have a strong motivation, okay, then it will give us more. If our motivation is very strong, it will encourage us to perform better. So that's why they say, if employees who are in an organization, if they have strong motivation, they will give better performance. They will perform better. But if in case it is negative performance, negative motivation, then obviously they're not going to be interested. They're going to reduce their performance. So an example is, let's say you're working in an organization. You are working very hard. You are putting in all your effort. You are staying overtime. You are finishing your job, but you don't get any. You're not getting anything from the company. Okay, no matter how much of effort you put in, when you're asking for a holiday, they are not giving it to you. You don't take holidays. You may, after about 6 months, you may ask for 2 days holiday. They don't approve it. They don't give you appreciation that you are doing so much of work. Okay, then they don't even comment that you are doing a good job. Okay, they just keep piling work onto you. You're not getting any benefits. You're not getting a promotion which you're looking for. You are not getting any kind of incentives, any type of bonuses. Nothing you are getting from that organization. Will you have the motivation to work after some time? No, the motivation will automatically decrease, because when you are not getting anything in return for what you're trying to do, then obviously the person's motivation is going to increase. But let's say that another person is working in the organization, they are getting some promotions, they are getting incentives on a monthly basis, they are being appreciated constantly. Whenever they are asking for some kind of off or some kind of time off, maybe few hours early to leave, or maybe for a holiday, and they are being allowed it because of their performance, then they will have more motivation to stay in the company, right? Because when you give your all to something, you need to get some rewards back. So if in case you don't get any rewards back, then automatically the performance also will reduce. Whereas if in case you are getting something and you know, okay, I am moving towards my goal slowly, then definitely there will be a lot of motivation to put in more energy into that particular job which you are doing. Okay, so there is a person called Likert. Okay, he basically says that it is the core of management which shows that every human being gives him a sense of worth in face to face groups which are the most important to him. So if it is a management perspective, every human being who is working in this management, they need to feel some kind of worth among the group. Okay, they need to feel that they are being appreciated. They need to feel that they are part of the group, that without them something is going to be missing, that needs to be there. If that is not there, then they will lose interest, because being like they are worth something within a group is something which actually is very important to each and every individual. Okay, so that is why in organizations they always tell supervisors, managers, to treat individuals with dignity, and also to recognize them. You cannot just only keep giving people work but not recognizing or appreciating. That's why in many organizations they have these incentive programs. They have bonuses every year. They have promotions which are done on a regular basis. Why? Because this is a way to recognize a person's worth in that particular company, and to give them more incentives to strive to work harder. Okay, so that is basically what motivation is. So I've just got a few definitions here. Each there are many definitions, but I've just taken a couple. We're not going to go through all of them, but we're just going to go through a few of the definitions of what is motivation or what is a motive, according to some very popular people or popular psychologists. Okay, so one person their names were Burleson and Steiner. They basically said that a motive is an inner state that energizes, activates, moves, or directs someone's behavior. So anything which is internal to a person, which gives them the motivation, the energy, gives them some direction towards a particular goal, is what he says is a motive. Then, the Encyclopedia of Management, they say that motivation refers to the degree of readiness of an organism to pursue some designated goal and implies the determination of the nature and locus of forces, including the degree of readiness. So basically, they say that motivation is something of a person being ready, an organism. They don't say a human being here, they are talking about any organism, because even animals, anything has some kind of motivation to do something, right? So any organism which has the readiness to pursue a goal is going to be known as motivation. Then, Banks. He said motivation implies to an emotion or desire so one's condition sorry which so conditions one's will that the individual is properly led into action, which means that it is something which is something very, again, internal to the person. It's a person's emotion or desire, and this emotion or desire will move or push the individual to reach his goal through a certain action. Okay, and memoria, they basically say that it's a willingness to expand energy to achieve a goal or reward. Okay, so we're using your energy to achieve some kind of goal or some kind of reward. So usually they say that the force here which pushes a person is usually dormant, but when you get motivated to do something, you are that particular action is no longer dormant. It starts to come into motion and it makes a person perform a type of action in order to achieve their goal. So there are various definitions, but if you look at the main gist of the definition, it is saying nothing but it is somebody's internal desire to reach a goal which makes them perform an action to reach that goal. That is the basic understanding of what is this motivation. Okay. Any questions? Please let me know on anything we've discussed so far. Okay. So if there's nothing, let's proceed. Now, what is the nature of motivation? Okay, so what is the nature of motivation? It's, as we already said, everything you it is something which generates an individual to work towards their goal, to satisfy their goal, to do an action which is going to reach their goal. Okay, so from the definitions which I have got over here, the basic things that can be taken from it is, first of all, it is an inner feeling. Okay, which gives a person energy to work more. Then it is an emotion or desire that prompts them to do some work. Then there is an unsatisfied need in a person which will disturb his equilibrium. That is basically, they will not feel correct, they will not feel content, there will be something missing. So till that is fulfilled, they will be disturbed. Now, once they achieve the goal, then there will be a satisfaction in them that they have achieved the goal and they will be no longer be disturbed. So a person moves to fulfill his unsatisfied needs by conditioning his energies. Okay, and the dormant energies, they are activated when a person has some particular goal in mind, and when he channelizes that particular energy towards an action to achieve a goal. So those are the basic inferences which can be drawn from it. Okay. Now, coming to the next very important topic. So this was all just the introduction to what is motivation. What is motivation? What are the definitions and inference of motivation? Now we are going to come to the topic about what are the different types of motivation. So there are two important types of motivation. It's positive motivation and negative motivation. Now we already saw something similar in the other slide over here, if you'll recall. I said over here that strong positive motivation and negative motivation. So, can someone tell me what you all understand by this positive motivation? What is positive motivation? What do you mean by a positive motivation?
Basically, that arise outside from the individual and that often involves reward to it.
Exactly. When a person gets some kind of reward for doing a particular goal, then it is going to be considered as positive motivation. That's the example that I gave you all, right? Someone is working in an organization, and when that person is receiving a lot of bonuses, incentives, appreciation, promotions, hikes in salary, when all this is happening, then they are going to have positive motivation because they are receiving some kind of reward. That's why positive motivation is otherwise known as incentive motivation, because it is based on the reward system. Okay, so the workers, they will be given incentives if they achieve their goals. So in many places they say, if you, this is your target, especially in sales this happens, right? They will give you a target in sales. They will say this much is what you need to sell. If you sell this much, you will get this much of profit. You will get 5% of the profit, or you will get 2% of the profit, or you will get some kind of for each thing you sell you will get this amount of money. So those are all incentives that are offered in order for people to get more sales. Okay, and the incentives may be pay, promotion, recognition of work, all what I have stated so far. Okay, so the employees, they are offered incentives, and they will, what obviously people are going to try and improve their performance, because obviously they want to get those incentives, right? So because they are offered these incentives, then automatically they will want to work harder and do better in order to reach that particular goal or to get those particular incentives. Okay, so this is what is positive motivation. Is that clear? Okay. Negative motivation is what I have explained to you all. Okay, it is basically negative. It's known as negative motivation or fear motivation. So it's based on something which is called as force or fear. Okay, so fear causes employees to act in a certain way. So they are not coming and doing their job because they are getting some incentives. They are coming and doing their job because they fear that if they don't do whatever what is required of them, they are either going to be demoted or they are going to be fired. Okay, and which means that once they are fired or they're demoted, they may not get another job. So what do they come to work to do? They come to work only to just complete the task at hand. They are not worried about getting anything, getting a promotion, getting incentives. No, their main target is to come and finish the job. Whereas in these people, the positive motivation, they will be more desire to improve their performance. These people are not interested in improving their performance. They are only interested in completing the job at hand. Why? Because of the fear. Okay, so these employees, they will not cooperate. They just want to avoid punishment, so they will just come, they will work at their normal level. Okay, there will be no motivation. Okay, and they will always be angry and frustrated constantly. Those people will be angry and frustrated because they are not happy with their job. They are not getting anything out of their job. They do not want to work in the job. They're just coming there just to get the money which they need to survive. That's it. So there is absolutely no motivation in them to do anything to improve their performance. They just want to come to work, finish their work, and leave. They'll just be looking at the clock the entire day, wondering when is this day going to end so I can go home. That is the only thing which is in their mind. Okay, so there is always negative motivation. They are always going to be frustrated with their particular job because because they are not being given anything. That's what I gave you the example of a person who is not getting any incentives, not getting anything. He's just coming to work and working. After some time, he realizes no matter how hard I work, I'm never going to get what I want. So he's going to lose interest in the job. But he doesn't want to quit the job. Why? Because if he quits the job, he's not sure if he's going to get another job which is going to pay him as high, or maybe he will be jobless for the next 4 or 5 months. How is he going to survive? So he continues to work at the job. But he is frustrated by the job. He is not getting any rewards and any recognition, nothing. He just has continuous frustration in him and anger in him. So he just comes to work every day out of fear. That's it. Because he needs the job, so he's just coming to work on a daily basis. So that is the difference between your positive motivation and your negative motivation. So when I have explained motivation, is everything clear? Do you have any questions on this so far? Okay. If there are no questions, please let me know if you all have any questions. Okay. Coming to the next topic, which is going to be your theories of motivation. So there are many theories of motivation, but we are going to be focusing on only a few. So we will be focusing on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which I told you about. We will also be working on Murray and McClelland's theory of motivation as well. These are the two most important theories we are going to be concentrating on. Okay. So first of all, I have already explained to you all what is motivation, how it works for individuals to achieve their goals, right? And basically, motivating employees is one of the most important duties of any single manager over here. Because if their employees are not motivated to work, then the performance of that particular organization is going to drop drastically. So the main aim of management should be to improve or to motivate their employees. Okay. So this is something which is internal to a person. So it is a psychological process. Okay. So motivation basically is a psychological process that will give a person some kind of excitement to do an action to reach their goal. Okay. So that each person has a different type of motivation. Now what motivates me is not going to motivate someone else. Let's say you're going to give me a certain amount of money to do some job. Okay. But post that, you tell somebody else you're giving them the same amount of money, they will not be interested. Probably they will say, no, that is too less for me, I'm not interested in doing this. That's not going to motivate them. So it is something which changes from person to person. Okay. So the managers need to learn certain types of techniques to keep their employees happy. You cannot keep giving them the same thing and expecting them to be happy. It needs to change. So let's say one year you give them a hike in salary. Next year, if you give them the same hike, they're not going to be happy because they have been working in the company for longer. They expect to get more. So you need to change. Then you cannot only keep giving them hikes. You have to give bonuses, you have to give incentives, you have to give gifts. There are so many different types of things that are there which will keep the employees happy and motivated. So managers need to understand this. They need to understand what is going to make my employees happy, for them to work hard and for them to help me reach my goals. Because employees working in an organization, they do not have any goals. Their goal is to get promoted, to get a higher position, to get higher salary. That is what their goals are. Their goals are not organization based goals. Their goals are personal goals. But when you are working in the organization, the managers, the CEOs, their goals are to be organizational goals. So they need to make sure that they are giving them their employees motivation to reach the organizational goals. Okay. So that's why many theories have come up to find out what are the different factors that motivate a person to fulfill certain goals or certain needs. Okay. So there's an example there. If you were dissatisfied with living in your parents' basement at age of 40, you might go out and find your apartment. In doing so, you will fulfill the need to privacy, independence, and ability to go home without having to explain why you still live with your parents. This is just all examples. This is all from foreign people. That's why it said this. But basically, when a person, let's say once you reach the age of 30, 35, 40 and you're still living at home, won't you have that motivation? Okay, I need to get out of my house, I need to get my privacy, things like that. So that is what they're trying to explain to you. In the same way, let's say you are working in an organization, you are in the same position for the past 5 years. Okay, so what is going to happen? They are not going to be interested at all. Okay, so that is the reason why you need to give motivation to these particular people. 1 second, yeah. One second. Okay, so that is the reason why many of these particular psychologists, they came up with various theories which explain what are the different ways in which people are motivated. So the first and most important theory, very very famous theory, is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Has anyone come across this? Can you all tell me what it is?
Yes, ma'am. It is to identify the internal factor that motivates an individual
Okay.
behavior.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anything else? Any other points from that? You are right, what you said. Anything else apart from that? Do you all happen to know any of there are five, right? There are total
Yeah,
five.
yeah. I know the five needs: the
Okay.
physiological needs, the safety needs, the love and belonging needs, self-esteem
Mhm.
needs, and self-actualization needs.
Exactly, yes. Those are the five different types of needs. Okay. So, excuse me. So Maslow basically says that this is, as I said, one of the most popular theories in psychology, the hierarchy of needs. He basically says that each person is motivated and each person tries to fulfill five basic needs. So as you said, physiological, safety and security, love and belongingness, self-esteem, and self-actualization. Okay. So what he says is these needs, they create some kind of pressure on the individual. Okay, and they influence that person's behavior. So if we talk about the physiological needs, these are the basic needs for any human being to survive: your air, your food, your water, your shelter, clothing, sleep. All this is something which is basic human necessities. Okay, so that is what is your physiological. What is your safety and security needs? What would come under safety and security? What would come under safety and
Financial
security?
security,
Okay.
protection from accidents, maybe harms, good health.
Okay. Yes, exactly. So those will come under your safety and security. Now, what about your love and belongingness? What about the love and belongingness? What will
So
come under? Mhm.
basically, acceptance so that they don't feel alone, isolated,
Okay, fine.
family and friends,
Family and friends, yes.
your work people,
Okay, being accepted by your colleagues, fine.
yeah, and social needs also.
Yes, and social needs as well. Okay. Then what about self-esteem?
Yeah, respect,
Respect, okay.
admiration,
Admiration, okay.
um,
Okay. And coming to the last one, what is will come under self-actualization?
to probably know what they are capable of.
Yes, it's basically nothing in very simple terms. It's achieving one's full potential, whatever potential they have, like creative activities, whatever they think that they can do in life, creativity, morality, problem solving, acceptance of facts, helping others. This in this self-actualization phase is where people start to help other people, not to look at themselves, but to look at other people. Okay, so this is basically what is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I'm going to take you all through each of them. we've already discussed it, but I'll just take you through each of them to get a better understanding of it. Okay. So as I said, the physiological needs will be air, food, water, shelter, clothing, sleep. All of that will be your basic physiological needs. Now, once a person receives that, once they have that, the next thing that they're going to look for is safety and security. This is nothing but physical security, financial security, good health, protection from accidents, from harm. All this will come under you. So basically, you are keeping yourself and your family protected. Okay, you are protected from any type of dangers. So this will happen once you get a job, once you get a house, right? Once you get health care, all this will automatically start to fall into place. Then the next one is going to be your love and belongingness, which will be your social needs. This is nothing but feeling like you
I'm so
are
sorry,
not.
ma'am. We can't see the slide actually.
You can't see it? One second.
No, ma'am.
Just check it. May have gone off. One second here. Just give me 1 second, please. Just trying to, I think I'm having some issue. Okay, can you see it now? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Yes. So, coming to the love and belongingness or your social needs, this is nothing but feeling a sense of acceptance or belonging in society. So, the person should not feel alone, isolated, depressed. They should have friends. They should have family who loves them. They should have good relations with their people at work. They should feel included in their job, like they are part of a team. That is what basically is. So you just have to be accepted in society. That will come under your love and belongingness. Then esteem needs, self-esteem. Okay, this is nothing but your respect, admiration from others, praise from others, appreciation from others. Okay, so all this will come under your self-esteem needs. Now, once all of that is fulfilled, the last phase which a person looks for is going to be their self actualization, which is going to be the person's need to reach and fulfill their full potential. Okay, so this is basically something where the person has accomplished everything. Now they have they are being recognized at work. They have enough security, they have enough love in their life, enough belongingness, everything is there. Now they need to look for something personal to them. Okay, so whatever that, it changes from person to person. Each person has a different type of self actualization which they might want to reach. Okay, so some people may want to be a good parent, some people may want to be some top level position in their organization. Okay, so and some people may just want to help other people. So there are many things which actually will lead to self actualization, but it's nothing but reaching a person's full potential is what is self actualization. Okay, so basically, he said that this was the order, the hierarchical order. Maslow said that this is the hierarchy of needs of every person. So, if a physiological need is not met, if they do not have the basic needs, they are not going to be bothered about love and belongingness. They're not going to be bothered about self esteem because their basic needs have not been fulfilled. Same way, if their second need, which is the safety and security, if that is not fulfilled, they're not going to look for the rest of the needs. The self-esteem, self-actualization, they're not going to bother about. So everything will be fulfilled on a hierarchical basis. Okay, so that is why he says basically the people, they look first for the lower level needs. Only after they look for the lower level needs will they start to bother about the higher level needs. Okay. So that is basically what was Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, so if you look at this one, this is basically the pyramid. It's a very, very famous one. Okay, so you have your physiological needs, which is the most important, your basic needs, which is food, water, warmth, rest. Then you have your safety needs, which is safety and security. Then we have the psychological needs, which is your belongingness and love, intimate relationships and friends. And then esteem needs, which is prestige, feelings of accomplishment. And finally is the self-fulfillment needs, which is your self-actualization, that is achieving one's full potential. So this is the hierarchy which was given by Abraham Maslow. Okay, it's called the hierarchy of needs. Is this clear? Do you all have any questions on this or anything discussed so far? Okay, so let me continue with the topic. So now that we finished Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the next topic that we are going to be, or the next theory of motivation that we are going to be focusing on is Murray and McClelland's theory of motivation. Okay, so there were two people. One was Henry Murray. He was one of the first psychologists to talk about the taxonomy of human needs. Okay, so he talked about 20 different needs which are there. Okay, he said that all human beings, they have about 20 different needs. Okay, so these 20 different needs, um, basically they will be including order, recognition, nurturance, dominance, authority. All this are some of the things in which he spoke about. Okay, so motives, pressures, needs, uh, nutrition, recognition, all this is what he said were the 20 different needs which is basically there for each and every human being. Okay, and he also said that there is a very, very close link between motivation and a person's personality. So based on the motivation of a person's personality also may change based on their motivation. Okay, so basically he said that most of the needs, okay, are no longer studied. Only three are right now are being used at the moment in psychology. So out of those 20, only three of them are what is still there: the need for affiliation, the need for power, and the need for achievement. These are the main three of the needs which Murray had stated. Okay, so once Murray had finished his theory, there was McClelland. He was one of Murray's students, and he basically built on Murray's work. So these three needs, which is the need for affiliation, power, and achievement, he came up with a theory of motivation with these three needs. Okay, so what he said was the first one, which was the need for affiliation. What do you understand by this affiliation? What do you think will be the motivation for this? The need for affiliation. What is the motivation in this? Can someone please tell me? What do you all understand by this need for affiliation?
The need for personal relationship.
Exactly. Yes, it's the need for personal relationships. Basically, to have some kind of friendly relations with people, have a loving understanding between family members. Okay, so all this, any type of relationships, is what is known as the need for affiliation. So basically, all people, they need to have some kind of relationship with others. They cannot be all alone by themselves. They have to have someone in their life. They need someone's approval, right? They need to they would always want to be with someone rather alone. Even when working, most people like to work with other people rather than working alone. There are certain people who always work better alone, but then again, there are most of the people tend to work better with others when others are around rather than working by yourself. Okay, so that is basically what he said was the need for affiliation. Now, the next one is the need for power. Okay, this is basically having some kind of control over others. Okay, so like basically these will be people who are in manager positions, team leader positions, anyone who is the leader of a group of individuals. Okay, so people who will give opinions or suggestions, and those people will follow whatever they say. So anyone who is a leader of a particular group, some kind of leadership position, they will come under the need for power. Okay. And the last one, which is the need for achievement, here this is something where people want to achieve something in life, so they perform very well, they are very excellent in their jobs. Okay. So they are people who try to perform very, very well. That is the need for achievement. So all this, right, he had some kind of, he used to call it NACH, which is need for achievement. Same way NAFF, which is need for affiliation, and NPOW, which is need for power. So if you look at this, this is how he used to. So NPOW here would be need for power. Then NAFF will be need for affiliation. NACH will be need for achievement. Okay, so all this is basically what he basically spoke about. And he said that people who have high need for achievement, they are motivated. Okay, they will get motivated by various opportunities, and they want to basically get successful in their life. So they do not like these very simple tasks, moderate tasks. They like to get very good tasks which are going to make them do more work, because they have a lot of desire to improve themselves and to reach certain goals. So that is why they work harder when compared to other people. They give more in their work when compared to others. Okay. And also these individuals, as I said, they do not like working in some moderately difficult jobs. They like challenging jobs, something in which they can prove themselves. Only then will they have the satisfaction, or will they get satisfaction from this. Just give me 1 second, class, I'm so sorry, just one moment. Yeah, sorry about that, class. Okay. So coming back to the topic, yeah. So as I was saying, people who have the high need for achievement, they will tend to want more jobs which are going to challenge them. They do not want simple jobs; they want challenging jobs, because they want to prove themselves, and only then will they get satisfaction from their jobs. Okay. So basically, this McClelland, he spoke about the needs are learned and could be developed through training. So if we look at Maslow's needs, this was something which everyone strives to achieve in their life, right? But when we talk about McClelland's theory or McClelland's needs, he basically said that all this, right from the need for affiliation to power to achievement, everyone can be trained to actually achieve these particular goals. Okay. After that, there were follow-up studies which were done, and there was a study which was done on businessmen, trained businessmen. Okay. And they were basically trained, and it was found that the double the number of new jobs invested more money in local businesses ventures compared to those who had not been trained. So there were people, okay, two sets of people were studied. One set of them was trained businessmen, one set of them was non-trained businessmen. So what did the studies find was that trained businessmen, they tended to get more of new jobs, they tended to invest more money in businesses, they tended to earn uh, more amount when compared to non-trained businessmen. So this was something which proved that through training, people could achieve the need for achievement. Okay, is that clear? Any questions so far on this? The need for achievement, affiliation, and power. Is that all clear? Any questions? Please let me know. Okay. Now we are going to come into, those are the two very important theories under the motivation need for under the motivation theory. So now we are going to come to the next topic, which is how is this motivation and adjustment related to each other? What is the relationship between motivation and adjustment? So first we need to see what is motivation and what is adjustment. So can someone tell, we already know what motivation is. Can someone tell me what is adjustment? What do you mean by this word adjustment? What do you mean by adjustment? Am I audible to y'all?
Yes, ma'am. Converting things to flexible for adaptive.
Yes, exactly. Basically, adapting yourself to various situations, right? Adapting yourself to various situations or various conditions or various actions or whatever it may be is nothing but adapting yourself to it. Okay. So that is basically what is adjustment. So that is adjustment. Motivation, we already know, it's nothing but someone's inner self and how that inner self drives someone to achieve particular goals. That is, we have already established what is motivation. So now we are going to look at how motivation plays a role in the adjustment process. Okay, so we have internal and external factors that will stimulate desire and energy in people to continually be interested and committed to a job or to make an effort to attain a goal that we have already made. Our internal factors are nothing but our motivation. What motivates us? Our internal, we need to reach this goal. This is what we need to do. So we are going to push ourselves to reach that goal. The external factors are going to be your incentives, your rewards, your recognitions are going to be the external factors, which are going to force you or push you towards attaining your goal. Okay, and motivation is also can be conscious and unconscious. So you have intensity and desire, that is your internal factors. Intensity and desire to achieve a goal. Incentive or reward will be your external factors. People who are giving you incentives or rewards for reaching a certain goal will be your external factors. Then expectations of an individual. The individual themselves has expectations for themselves, right? This is what I need to do. This is what I can do. This is what I am capable of doing. So all that will play an important role in motivating a person to achieve or work towards a goal. So basically, the elements which are included in this motives or goals are as follows. So almost all humans are motivated. Motives prompt a person to complete an action, and motives provide a thrust, that is a push towards reaching the goal. And when we talk about goals, these are basically motives are generally directed towards goals. Behavior is a series of activities to be under. Sorry, what am I saying? Motives are generally directed towards goals. Okay, so this is basically what is the motives and goals and how they are interrelated with each other. Now, these motives and goals, when a person has a goal and they have a motivation to do it, their behavior also is going to change in order to reach the goal. Now, let's say I want to become a manager of a company. Okay, I want to start a company, or even I don't want to become a manager, I want to start a business. Now, the same thing what I'm doing right now is not going to make me achieve my goal of starting a business. Now, right now, I am here in a university, I'm teaching all that. Now, I continue to do this. It is not possible for me to start a business. I want to start some big scale business. Is it possible by sitting on a daily basis and coming and teaching? Is it possible to start a business? No. I have to change my behavior. I have to change what I am doing. Or let's say my goal is to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, but daily I am sleeping only by 4 o'clock in the morning. Is it possible for me to reach my goal? Yes, I can get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But is it possible for me? I want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I want to go for a run. Then I want to go and I want to go to work. And then after I want to come home and cook and do whatever. But I'm only sleeping at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. What is going to be my outcome? Obviously, either I'm not going to be able to get up, or even if I get up, I'm going to be sleeping throughout the day. So I have to change my behavior to in order for me to achieve my goal of waking up early, which means I have to sleep early. I have to sleep by 9, or I have to sleep by 10, or I have to sleep by maximum by 11 in order to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So these are all simple examples that I'm giving you. But when we are talking about this, it is aimed at higher goals. Okay. So people have to change their behavior in order to achieve a goal. So behavior is a series of activities to be undertaking and is directed to achieve a goal. So if you look at this picture I have here, you have the motive to reach a goal. And to reach this goal, you have to have a certain behavior. Okay. So first, when you have a goal, you will have high tension. right? Your tension will be high over here. So you have a motivation, you have a goal, you have a behavior. Now, once you have achieved your goal, your tension is going to be reduced. As soon as you achieve your goal, your behavior also may change. Now, let's say my goal, I am working in a company, I'm working in an organization. I'm just a normal person, a mid-level person. My aim is to achieve or to become a manager in that company. I'm just a normal employee in the company. My aim is to become a manager. So my motivation, my goal is to become a manager. I start working towards it and I become a manager. My behavior also has to change, right? Your behavior, you cannot just be the normal person who you always were. Your behavior has to change in order for it to match with the manager position that you have achieved as well. So that is how it basically goes. It is a circle. Okay, it is a circle which happens when you have tension, you have a motive, you have a goal, you have changed behavior. Your behavior is going to change, it's going to reduce your tension, another motive is going to come, another goal is going to come. So it is a cycle which every single person goes through. Okay, so that is basically how that plays an important role in this. I hope that is clear. If you have any questions, please let me know. Okay. Now, coming to the next topic, which is the 5 steps of adjustment. Now, every single person has to go through some kind of adjustment. So, I want to ask you a question. If you all have heard, when a person, let's say someone dies, okay, someone who you know dies, or someone who anyone knows dies, they say that there are 5 steps in the process. What can anyone tell me? What are those 5 steps? When a person dies, what are the 5 steps or stages which a person goes through when somebody close to them dies? The stages of grief. Any idea? Any idea? What is the stages of grief? Can someone tell me? Yes, tell me guys quickly. What are the stages of grief?
Shock,
Shock, okay, yes. Then what else?
Denial,
Denial, okay.
maybe anger and depression also.
Yes, anger and depression, okay. Okay. So yes, what you'll have said is correct. So mostly people go through first shock and denial, then they will go through anger, then they will start bargaining in certain instances, then they will go through depression, and then finally after depression they go into acceptance. So the main stages are shock, denial, anger, depression, and acceptance. Now in the same way, when anyone is adjusting to a particular situation, okay, at those point of times also they have 5 steps in which they adjust to that particular change which is coming. Okay, so there was a person, her name was Kubler Ross. Excuse me. And she was motivated because there was a lack of curriculum in medical schools on the subject of death and dying. So people were there in medical schools. The main aim of a medical practitioner is to save people's lives. But in the curriculum, there was very little information regarding the death of a person and how a person dies. There was very limited information. Okay, so this Kubler Ross, she examined death and those faced with it when she was at the University of Chicago Medical School. So she started to study about death and people who were faced with death during this particular phase in time, which was during the University of Chicago Medical School. So this Kubler Ross, she developed a project, okay, and it basically evolved into a lot of seminars. Okay, so what was this based on? It was based on interviews with the patient, and it was also based on previous research. Okay, so she did a lot of previous research and she interviewed many people, And she gave a lot of seminars on this, and she also made a book. The name of the book was On Death and Dying. Okay, and in this book she spoke about five steps which every person will go through when they are faced with something, to adjust to something. And this became very popular. Okay, it became to be known as the five stages of grief. And at certain instances it can also be clubbed with adjustment process, how people adjust to situations. So even though she spoke about it in relation to grief, it is mostly to do with grief. It is also spoken about when it comes to an adjustment process. Okay, so these stages, they are popularly known as DABDA, okay, which is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. DABDA, the first letters of all the words. So she said that these are the main five stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So first one is shock or denial, which is what you all have said. So she said that when a death occurs, the first step which people have is denial and shock. This is a defense mechanism that they have. They feel that when a person is in denial, or when a person is going through shock, or when a person is denial, they are have this is like a defense mechanism for them, because they are giving themselves time to absorb the news. They need to be able to absorb the news. So they will go into a state of shock. They will go into a state of numbness, and then finally they will deny it, saying, no, this is not happening, this cannot happen to me, this is not what is supposed to. Let's say an example will be, someone comes to know that a person who their husband or their wife has been murdered. Okay, and when you come and give them the news, they will deny. They'll be like, no, this cannot be true, it's not true, that's not my husband, that's not my wife, that's not my spouse. Or let's say they themselves get diagnosed with something, they will deny it, saying, no, this cannot happen to me, I'm too young, this is not something, I think the diagnosis of the was wrong, please recheck me, retest it. So they're giving themselves time to absorb the news about what is happening to them in their life. The next stage after the denial is anger. So once they realize that what has happened is true, yes, my husband or wife did die, or yes, I am diagnosed with this, then they are going to get angry. Here, they will either get angry with themselves, or they will blame someone else, or they will blame something else. So if you notice, during, let's say, a criminal investigation, someone is murdered, they will start to blame the person who has murdered the individual. If the murderer is not caught, they will take out their anger on the police officer. You all are not doing your job. You all are not able to catch the person who has killed my, whoever it may be, who they have killed. And they start shouting at them, screaming at them. Then they'll start blaming themselves. I should have taken care of them, I should not have let them go out, I should have been there with them. Many things will go on. Then once you catch the perpetrator, they will say, see, this is the person who did the crime, and they will get angry at that person, and they will want that person to suffer. So this is the stages of anger that they will go through. Okay, then after they find that, okay, this is what it is, next stage will be bargaining. Now this bargaining is only mostly in cases where people are about to die. So maybe in two instances, the person is about to die, or maybe there's a missing person case, and they say, you can they'll start bargaining with God most of the time. Take me, let my child be alive, or let my husband be alive, take me instead. They will start to make bargains with God. They'll start bargaining, saying, no, do not, if you find my son alive, or if you find my daughter alive, or if you find my husband alive, or whoever it is, you would rather take my life and spare them so that they will be safe. So this is the bargaining. Or if they are about to die, they will start bargaining with God. Do not do this, I will start doing this if you do not take my life. So these are bargainings which happen in these situations. Okay, so if in case it's like an attempt to postpone what they know is true, so they will start bargaining. Okay, and they will start trying to see if they can find a way out of the situation. This mostly happens when they bargain with their particular god. Okay, the next one is depression. Now once they have finished bargaining, once they have finished the anger, and they know whatever's happening is going to happen. Irrespective of whatever they do, it is true, it is going to happen. They will start to go into depression. And this will be evident by every single person, because they will go into so much of depression that they will not know what to do. Okay, so they will go completely into depression. And every single person, even people who don't know them very well, will start to notice that they are going into depression. And finally, after all of this, when they know that no matter what is happening, they have to come to terms with this. It is going to happen whether they like it or not, or it has happened. Then they will start to accept it. Now, this acceptance is not going to be a happy acceptance. It is going to be like a resigned attitude. Like, it has to happen, it's happening, okay, fine, let it happen. So ultimately, they're going to accept it half-heartedly, but they will accept it in the end. So this is what is Kubler-Ross says. These are the 5 stages of um, adjustment which every single person goes through. So it can be taken in various situations. I have given you all examples of crime victims. Reason being that we are talking about the criminological aspect. Your subject is criminology, so I am talking about the criminological aspect. So if in case someone is going through something to do with the criminological aspect, then this is what there will be. So if you see, like, I'm giving you an example. Suppose later on in life you are working as a police officer and you have to go and give bad news to someone about someone's family. First, this is going to be their reactions. They are going to be in shock and denial. Then they're going to take out their anger on you, right? So you need to know what are the stages which a person is going to go through when they find out that someone has actually been is no longer with them, basically. Okay, so that is why you need to know about all this. Okay, so with that, today, that is what is our topic for the day. Please let me know if you'll have any questions, if and around any topic. Please let me know. I'll give you all 5 minutes. Let me know if you have any questions on any of the topics which were discussed in yesterday's class or in today's class. No questions? Everything is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything you all would like me to repeat? Any other questions on any topic you all have? Anything like that? Nothing? Okay,
Nothing.
fine. So if there's no other questions, we'll close class for the day then? Okay.
Yeah, I have one query.
Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, regarding the language assignment,
Mm-hmm.
for other subjects, is it okay we can get from online for the notes and all? For languages, we require the books, right? So how we can find the notes and all
I'll
to write
just
the
check
assignments?
with Anand, sir. You can just give me a minute, please.
Yeah, okay, ma'am.
I'll do one thing. I'll let Anand sir know, okay, and I'll ask him to just intimate you all regarding that particular question.
Sure,
I
ma'am,
think
fine.
he's
For
actually
because for other subjects, is it okay? No, no issues. But for language, we require definitely books and all.
books. Yes, okay. I will
So
definitely
that's why.
ask him to reach out to you all and give you all the information
Yeah,
regarding.
okay, ma'am, fine, sure.
Anything else, guys? Any other questions you all have regarding anything? Please let me know. Okay, fine. So in that case, we'll close class for the day. Okay, you all have a good day, and I will talk to you all in the next class. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye bye.